Alrighty guys, welcome back to another one. This one is another oddball load. We're loading some 22 caliber number F buck, if you want to call it buckshot, in 32 gauge. What I'm using is the Ozark Trail size number 7 split shot, sinkers. These things are measuring 16 grains on my scale. The number 4 buck is measuring 23 grains. So there's a little bit of a difference there. 22 versus 24 cal. These actually stack by 2s in a 32 gauge wad, whereas number 4 buck won't. It bulges the hull out too bad. These stack by 3s kind of loosely in here, whereas number 4 buck stacks by 3s a little bit tightly in here, but not enough to bulge the hull out. I just figured those of you that actually own 32 gauge, you might want to actually hunt with it sometimes. Like maybe this is a good coyote load or hogs. Something along them lines right there. 22 cal will totally get the job done on those two animals. One load is using 12 pellets. The other one is using 18 pellets. The 12 pellet load comes out at 0.46 ounces of lead payload weight with a buffer that brings us up to ½ ounce, which is what 32 gauge standard factory loads are, just a ½ ounce, but the velocity is like 1360 FPS. So same payload as a 2.5 inch 410, but significantly higher velocity. But a ½ ounce is extremely light for the 32 gauge. You can push it up to 7/8 ounce with little gunpowder. My preferred load in 32 gauge is 3/4 ounces. But we're going to do a ½ ounce load because that is the standard for 32 gauge, at least with the factory. We need 12 grains of green dot, 12.5 technically. Alright, there's our 12 grains. Double check it. Yep, we're at 12 grains, and again, that was green dot. Now we need the SG32 wad. It's the only commercially available wad for 32 gauge, plastic wad. We do need to modify it though. I'll show you how to do that. So here's our wads. The unmodified one is of course on the bottom. All you need to take off is the section right here directly underneath the shot cup, and one section of the piston section of the wad. This little ladder shape, take the upper one off. So now that we have the powder in our shell, take the bottom of your wad, insert it into the hull, then your shot cup, and then we're going to need something to seat that. Just using Gary Caskey's wad tamper. Now we need 12 pellets of the 22 caliber number F buck. And this is what those look like. It is split shot, of course. All I did was take a pair of pliers and squeeze them closed, and then I powder coated them. I mixed pink and green together, just to seal them. Alright, 12 pellets. You will need the wad tamper here because, like a lot of loads, the first 2 layer of pellets just don't want to go in symmetrically. So, wad tamper. There's 4. And here's our 12 pellets. It comes up right to where it needs to be for the fold crimp. I'd show you better, but they'd fall out of the hull. Dump these back in here. Big difference. That's 10 gauge. But anyway, we're ready for buffer. The total lead payload weight is 0.46. And just for the record, 12 pellets of number 4 buck comes out to 0.59 of an ounce. Now this really don't take much at all here. This is half a scoop of the Lee 2.2 cc dipper. Right there we are. I'm going to tear off one section of this 32 gauge nitro card. They come in section of 3. We're going to place that right on top. That's going to do 2 things. Better looking crimp and keep the buffer in. Here's what it looks like before we crimp it. See, we have no bulging of the hull. You can see the pellets through the plastic. And we have the perfect stack height. You need a mech 28 gauge crimp starter and the door off your press if you got a reload all, the primer door. And this is the 20 gauge press, by the way. You need the 20 gauge reload all to fold crimp this. But I imagine most of you guys that own 32s or 24s are not fold crimping your shells. You're just rolling them, and that's fine too. You can totally do that here. In fact, that's the way you probably should go. But you guys see what's going on here, hopefully. There we go. Pinch this in with your fingers a little bit. These hulls are unskived or skived, so a little bit tough to work with. Once you get it pinched in, push it in against the flat surface. Yep, this is a multi-step process to be able to fold these. And now you need a Little Skeeter's 20 to 32 gauge chamber adapter. It lets you shoot 32 gauge out of your 20 gauge shotgun. We need one of those. And this is what it looks like. Little Skeeter's is the only company I know of that actually makes 24 and 32 gauge, adapters. Slide that up in the hull. Get your primer door again. Slide this up on the primer punch. Door goes underneath it, and then pull down, but not too hard. Go a little bit at a time. That way you don't crush the hull. That's looking really good in there. Yep. Very nice looking fold crimp on that. I do have a hole in the center. Could have used a little bit more pre-crimp, but I can totally live with that right there. That nitro card in there is going to prevent buffer leakage. We have no bulging of the hull. It's just a great looking load. Now, one more thing we can do to that is take a roll crimp tool. I recommend using the Reloaders Network, but I have the ballistic products, which will work just fine. Here's what it looks like from a better angle. You can see it does have a really good crimp on it. It's not going to pop back open. That hole right there was, again, because I didn't have enough pre-crimp on it. But we're going to hit this with the roll crimp tool and try to pretty it up a little bit. So sometimes mistakes happen and you grab the wrong roll crimp tool. Guys, I hit that one with a 28 gauge tool. Whoops. I'll open that shell back up here in a minute and, load it back up with another hull. But moving right along, this is the 18 pellet load, 3/4 ounce. Another brand new Shaddai 32 gauge hull, if I didn't mention that before. We need 20 grains of Hodgdon little gun. One of my favorite powders. It's what's letting me load 3 ounce 10 gauge loads, 2 3/4 ounce 12 gauge loads, 1 3/4 ounce 16, ounce and 5/8 and 20. It's just a great, Magnum powder. There's 20 grains. Might want to double check that. Sure is. Another SG32 wad. This time we're cutting off, well, the same amount as last time, honestly. So again, should look just like this. Alright, now we need a Mylar wrap. This is the My Slim Mylar from Ballistic Products. If you don't want to buy Mylar pre-cut because it is a little pricey, you can go to Amazon and get you some overhead projector sheets, a lot cheaper, and you can cut them yourself to your own needs. But we're going to roll that up because these stack by 3s in here and it's a little bit loose. So Mylar wrap will help that, and it'll also provide some sort of shot cup. Alright, we need 18 of these number F buck. I will tell you what the lead payload weight is when I'm done here. Need the tamper again. Wrong one. Alright, there's 3. Alright, so 18 of these guys right here weigh 0.69 ounces. And with a buffer, that's going to bring us up to 0.73, which is just a hair under 3/4 of an ounce. Again, using the original buffer. I want to say that took about 5/8 of a scoop. It was a little bit more than a half, but we're there. And again, total payload weight is 0.73. For an overshot card, I'm again using 1 slice of the 32 gauge nitro cards. There we go, ready to roll it now. And this time I'm not going to use the 28 gauge roll crimp tool. That was, I don't know how I did that, but I did. I'm going to try to roll this one on camera, although it may be a little bit difficult to see. I have some WD-40 on that right there. And yes, this time it is the 32 gauge. Looking good. Even got us a taper on it. Not bad at all. See, we have no bulging of the hull. Good looking load. Well guys, I want to thank you for watching this. I apologize if the lighting was a little bit weird here. Normally I don't film these during the early morning hours. A little bit excess sunlight, but that's okay. Just waiting on Josh to show up so we can get some stuff done. But anyway, we want to thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe. We greatly appreciate that. If you got any questions or comments, leave it in the comment section down below. We'll get back to you. If you want to, go check out our Patreon. It's as little as $1 a month. But other than that, you guys take it easy, and we'll see you in the next one.